Good morning, everybody. Today I'm here to talk about why you should protecting yourselves from the various diseases in your youth. Starting, I would like to talk about my uncle who caught HIV in his youth. And my mom never knew, she never discovered about this until she was like 30 years old. And one day I found out when I was 5 years old that my mom was crying on the porch when I was playing basketball. And I see my dad try to comfort her, and I came up to her and said, "What's going on?" She says, "Nothing." I believed her. I thought it was just normal or something. I mean, I usually don't see adults cry. That's really unusual, right? So, and as I grew older, my uncle always came by my house. He was always hungry. He was always hungry. Came by our house. He ate a lot of food when he came by. And as soon as my mom found out that he stopped taking prescribed pills, she started to going crazy. She started going crazy. He says, "Why do I need this?" It was really stressing me out. It was killing me. Pills don't really help me. It just wants to. He basically wants to end himself. And if he ends himself, then it'll go against his T cells. But in my youth, I never knew anything about this. I was 5, and as I grew older, 5 to 10 years old, I recently found out from another person that he moved. I thought he moved, like at that time. But as I reached 10, he passed away. He passed away, and it was a really sad day. A really sad day. But I never knew anything about this. I thought he moved out of town. I thought he just stopped coming. But I was too young to understand. But my mom herself didn't tell me that he had HIV, nor did she tell me that his death. Today, I chose this topic because of my uncle. He was a funny man. He was a great man. He was a great man. He influenced me a lot of things. He told me not to hang around girls, not to party a lot, because you never know what's going to happen to you once you get wasted. So, we've all went to school. We went through 1st to 5th grade, learned science, history, math, and sorts of activities. As we grow older, become a little more independent, and normally we learn the basics about sex in 5th grade. But what the elementary school doesn't do, they don't teach its diseases. What I'm going to talk about is why its diseases should be talked about in middle school rather than in high school. So let me start with. It'll help the student's future because if they do this in high school, rates could go up, and they could catch a virus, or HIV, aka human immunodeficiency virus, or STDs, sexually transmitted disease. I believe that if you do this in middle school, it'll help them protect their future. It'll give them a heads up. So in middle school, the young youths go through a phase called puberty. It helps them understand why they go through such a feeling they get, and it helps them understand why. But since the school system doesn't want to change, there was a source that talks about there's a source, AIDS.gov, that talks about around the ages 13 to 19, there were 8,300 individuals that caught HIV since 2009, and this grows every year. The the ranges 13 and 19 are appropriate time for high school, right? So these kids are fully developed. They're fully they went through a bunch of cycles. They went through a bunch of cycles, and yeah. Also, ages 13 and 19 to 19, the kids caught STDs, sexually transmitted disease, and it also grows every year. And how many have this? Over, I believe, 1.7 million. Excuse me, and I'm going to move on to why the school system should change. When I attended at Grandview High School, I learned health in my senior year. I asked my health teacher, my former health teacher, Allison Robbins, why can't they lower it down to middle school? She simply didn't hesitate and just told me because students they give us cooperation, they give us maturity, and we don't want to scar them in their youth. I was like, okay, I'm like, okay, so why not? It's good. This could be a good scar because if you teach them in middle school, they go through a phase. Don't you understand that? That's what I said to her. They go through a phase called puberty, and she's like, well, yeah, that's understandable. That's understandable. And I said, it's bogus that you guys do this school system. She's like, it's not up to me, but I agree. What I say, teaching I say to teach these young students, they will understand why they get this. Sorry, I'm a little bit off track. I believe if this happens, I hope this happens. If it was taught in middle school, if I was a head of the school, I would say display graphical images to the middle school students so they would understand why this is a huge deal, and not just laugh about this is just some crazy thing. Well, that was basically my whole persuasion about why it should be taught in middle school, and I hope it really affects I really hope that school system is going to change due to the rise of diseases. And think about it, if the board decides to do it in middle school, think about the rates it will drop once they have this knowledge. Thank you.